The word inspire is defined as to create a feeling, especially a positive one, in a person. In marriage, this is sometimes difficult to do because both partners are caught up in their busy schedules. Here are some ways in which couples can inspire their marriage. Create time for yourself as couple. This is key. It could be time to play games, watch movies, take a long walk, holding hands and having great fun. Sending love messages in between working hours to your partner can also inspire marriage, as this can lighten up your partner's mood and bring smiles to their faces. Complimenting your spouse is very key, and it's also a way of inspiring marriages. Complimenting your spouse's look and making them feel loved always. Kissing your spouse is not only crucial for marriages, but it also improves the health of both partners. Different couples have a way of getting inspired in their marriages. So we ask, what inspires your marriage? Some of the basic things that can motivate you to get married are: you have found someone who shares your value, goals and vision for the future. You want to build a family and a home with your partner. People marry for several different reasons: love, kids, a passion for another, to have companionship. Love connects us, it inspires us to reach out. Love, no matter the type, always motivates us to exhibit certain behaviors to fulfill the need for belonging. Your why doesn't have to match anyone else's. The never-ending nature of your why can help you outlast the temporary challenges you face in marriage. Memories mean lead to you without the story attached to them. You look at them to remember the story. It connects you with the positive energy captured during the moment that worth remembering. Keep searching for better ways to communicate. Be playful and spend quality time with one another. Regardless of how challenging marriages get, to stop communicating is never the answer. Sometimes we get so focused on what our spouse is or isn't doing, we lose sight of ourselves. Continue to grow and practice good self-care. It may help you to get a fresh perspective that can help you thrive in the midst of some of the most difficult times. When you remember these things, you realize no matter how big the problem may seem, your commitment to each other is bigger. The urge to stop trying is real, but you have everything you need in your memory bank to fight the urge to quit and help your brain to keep moving forward. The darkest part of a cave is right before you see the light. Focus on using the tools you have to get the light and stop the darkness from making you a permanent resident.
There are units that make up this thing we call Nigeria. The basic unit is the individual person.
Nigeria, in which I grew up, paid a lot of attention to the character of a person and its makeup, which determines what a person can do and will do. The Nigeria of today pays attention to money and how much you have in your pocket.
Now, the moment you have to associate with another human being, then you get a play of values, standards, discipline, because you need all those things to keep you on track as you go towards your objective.
Let us pay attention to the family. The family is not as sound and good as it used to be. That's where we start. Because it is there we start building morality into the system, start building righteousness into the system.
We have departed from the value and standards and discipline that we were given as children.
Welcome back. Of course, you've had to an understanding into our topic today: what inspires your marriage. Of course, I'd love to ask you, what should inspire people's marriages?
A lot of things. You heard from our guest yesterday. First, when you talk about inspiring, what makes that marriage to be, unique, to be special, different from every other person's own. Okay, maybe I'm a pampering woman. I overlook many of the wrongs my husband does. Or I just decide to stay on my own and it's still marriage. Let me continue to manage it.
Anyway, I just wanted you to give us an intro into it. We'll allow you to introduce our guest this morning to do justice to our topic.
Yes. Our guest this morning is one and only woman. She's an iron lady. She looks so soft from the outside, but inside is loaded. She's a woman leader. She is, I'm not talking about politics now, when it comes to the area of family values, just like we are here today. Mrs. Abimbola Onchekwa. She is a marriage counselor, a builder, a life supporter, and a life inspiring woman, just like everybody. So meet our guest, Mrs. Abimbola Chekwas. Bims, how are you this morning?
I'm fine.
She's looking so
Speaking of beautiful, welcome to the show, my good
Thank
to
you
have
so
you.
much. Hello, everyone. Hello, our viewers. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, she's glad to be here. So by the time she starts speaking, you know she has really arrived. Okay, now, Beams. What inspires marriages? What should inspire marriages? Just like Joy threw to me now. What should inspire marriages?
Well, thank you very much, Olori. Let me first and foremost say something very important here. There is no one size fits all in marriages. Yeah. I cannot look at your marriage and say, okay, why isn't my marriage like Olori's marriage? I can look at Joy's marriage and say, why is my marriage not like Joy's marriage? There is no one size fits all. The things that inspire my marriage may not inspire your marriage. The things that inspire your marriage may not inspire mine. So I always advise couples, when I have sessions or have opportunity of speaking with people, look inward. What exactly are those things that make you happy? Now, those things don't just start in a day, right? So the whole thing is based on the foundation of that marriage itself. Yes. So before you get married, what are those things that inspire you? What are those things that you look forward to enjoying in a marriage? And then, what are those things you're willing to give up? Parts of you that you're willing to give up to enjoy these things that you know that you're looking forward to in a marriage. So basically, once you have that foundation, then the rest will be easy.
Okay, I love the angle where you took it from. You've brought it out that we shouldn't look at other people's marriages to inspire our own marriage. But we live in a generation where the youth feel love is the capital inspiration for marriage. We've had people say, no, I love him, that's why I want to marry him. But we seated here know it's beyond that. So would you say that love is the main value for inspiration of marriage, or is it just a subsidiary to what should inspire people's marriages? Especially the youth out there.
Let me say again, love is not enough.
Okay.
Love is never enough. Love will never be enough. Yes.
Okay, should financial stability, should sentiments, your emotion, should be part of those things, qualities or attributes that you look at when you talk about marriage
These are ingredients.
to inspire.
I was a science student while I was in the secondary school, but eventually I didn't do science in my, post secondary school. But I love chemistry. Marriage is like chemistry.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, you need to put a lot of things together.
To arrive somewhere.
Appropriate measurements of things. So I would say marriage can be likened to science. You need to put the appropriate things together to be able to arrive at certain results. So whatever you put in, like in computer, garbage in, garbage out. So whatever you put in your marriage is what you're going to get. So these things you have mentioned are ingredients that, you need to put in your marriage to help make your marriage work. You know your ingredients. The way I will cook my ogbono soup will be different from the way she will cook hers. The ingredients I will use will be different. And then again, let's also note that you can give you, Olori, they can give you same level of ingredients, same amount of, excuse me, ingredient for your ogbono. Give Joy same, give me same. They will never taste the same way. So now depends on what you're going to put in. Patience. I need to fry this meat. I need to boil this meat to a certain texture. I love talking practicals. I love to relate things in such a way that you will understand, you can relate with. I need to boil this meat. The recipe says boil this meat for 3 minutes because it is this particular part of the meat. But I'm in a hurry. I needed to get this ready as soon as possible, as fast as possible, and I'm boiling for 20 minutes. Meanwhile, you are supposed to titrate in chemistry to a certain level to get a certain result, but I have boiled my meat without allowing that particular ingredient that will give me that taste to come out before I begin to add some other things. So we've been given same man, same situation, but now you will decide the result of that marriage. So all the ingredients you have mentioned, financial stability, emotion, all of these, they are the ingredients. But the main ingredients is you.
Okay.
You.
I love the
main
fact that you said the
ingredient.
main ingredients too, and that brings me to my next question. When you look at the youth today, or when you listen to them talk and you ask them, what's your dream man? They will give you the structural appearance of the kind of man they want, and for some of them, that's what inspires them into getting married. And when they say, oh, once I see that man that God has designed, built his 6 parts, and you know, they use it as a benchmark for their inspiration into marriage.
Yeah.
And we know that marriage is a very serious thing. It's not what a child should venture into. Now, for people with such a mindset, right? Because we are talking to the youth now. For people with such a mindset, how do you navigate them, making them understand that you are the main ingredient to pilot this marriage?
Okay. So how many men with 6 packs do we have? So when they take all the men with the 6 packs, what do we, others, the others, that was the joke. Now, marriage inspiration is beyond the physical. The physical attraction is also one of the ingredients, but not the main. Now, in marriage, there is a whole lot of difference between marriage and wedding. Yes, you want to, on my wedding day, that man, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Then the marriage begins.
Flamboyance wedding.
Yes, that's your wedding.
That's your wedding.
It's for your family. The families are the ones that would, your friends, will plan all of this. But the marriage itself starts the night when everyone else is gone and you are alone with your husband. Now you're talking of physical appearances. A man that used to be a 6-footer suddenly went into had an accident and then on a wheelchair. So what happens? I took a class once on love is not enough, and it was an expose. That the word love is not what you can, it's not what you can feel. When you meet a man and you ask him, why exactly do you love me? And the man says to you, this is a secret I'm giving out here today. And the man says to you, I love your nose. I love your hair. Oh, I love your, you know, your whatever, your figure, one thing like that. With time, all of those will go.
Fade away.
Yeah. Then that love, which you have designed, which you have defined, in the physical, will it be enough to sustain you beyond the future? So love should be more of a futuristic thing. The things that will not wither. Even before they go away, you would have had enough in your bank to be able to go to withdraw. Okay, this man that, or this woman, I remember. There must be a lot of things to remember before that thing will go away. For someone like me, I would say, excuse me, I'm sapiosexual. I love intelligence. I love to be challenged. So before I look at you, your physical appearance, I want to hear you talk first. I want to close my eyes and hear your voice. I want to hear what will come out of your mouth. I want a man I'm sitting with and I am learning. As I am giving out, I'm being refilled. Those are the things that, and I must give that to Mr. Onchekwa, that's my husband. Do you understand? So that was the first thing about him, the intelligence. Then I started listening to some other things. A man will not just all of a sudden lose his intelligence. That's from God. I can work on my shape. I can work on my physical appearance, but you can't work on your intelligence. If it's not properly developed between what ages 1 and 10 and beyond, you understand what I mean? The experts will know that. Once you've gotten to a certain age, you can't go any further. So for me now, that's what really inspires me.
Okay, I will ask you this. What makes your own marriage special? This is a woman we're looking at who has gone through stages over almost 3 decades. Okay, the first one should be about 20-something years, so I don't let me start giving you that lowdown. But what I'm talking about now is what inspires. Of course, you said it. we can't have the same ingredients and still come out the same with the same result.
Yeah.
But something, that doesn't mean you don't have issues or you don't have, once in a while arguments and that, but how do you, let's learn from you now. How would you or do you manage your marriage to the stage?
I said earlier, I love intelligence. I am blessed to be married to a man that is highly intelligent, that can handle situations. Yes, because no one is perfect. No marriage is perfect. In the first place, I am far from being perfect. He is also far from being perfect. So we agreed, we're imperfect, I'm not perfect, but let's come together with our imperfections and see how we can make a perfect situation, a perfect marriage out of these our, do you understand, imperfections. So we just like, okay, I'm going to learn. I'm here to learn and have fun. So
Learn and have fun.
yes, my marriage, the first thing, actually he said to me, we don't have to have kids. If you have kids, fine. Please, if you have boys, fine. If you have girls, fine. If you have boy and girl, fine. Because at some point in life, these guys will be gone. Like now. I've been married like 26 years, over 26 years, yeah.
Congratulations.
So we're alone somehow,
They're all grown.
Yes, so you are alone. So your reasons for marrying that man in the first place, if they were to have kids, the moment the kids are gone, the marriage is over. You need a man you can have a discussion with, a man that is patient. Let me tell you again, for this new generation, our Gen Zs, looking out for macho D's, looking out for what's up
Richie
guys,
has
Richies
a lot in his account, loaded.
There are some men that are actually babies in men's form. Now I asked a guy when I was doing kind of marriage counseling with him, and I asked, what exactly, the way he was talking, you will know that he may be over 30, but he said his intelligence, his emotional maturity wasn't up to that. So I asked him, can you give me the definition of a groom? Yeah, a groom. Yeah, the guy that said, okay, a groom is the man that marries, or that, he said, yes, fine. Can you define the bride? And he said, okay, that's the woman, the literal definition. I said, fine. So who is the bride? He said, the wife, the to-be. Then who is the bridegroom? He said, okay, that's the man. I said, the two of you, she's the bride, you're the bridegroom. He said, yes, okay, so now give me another definition of a groom. Apart from the man to take the woman. Look for another word. He said, okay, groom, I could help you, but I want you to figure it out. So who is a groom? Somebody that trains, somebody that helps to mold, that takes you from the position you are to a better place. That is
Not
your,
on the same spot.
yes, that is a groom. And what are the qualities of a groom? Number one, patience. You can't be a groom in the first place if you do not have patience. And then you have to be intelligent. You have to be patience, number one. So a bridegroom means this bride that the father is handing over to you, the man had trained, had groomed this child to this level. Now you have been entrusted as a groom. That is why you are a bridegroom. A groom to groom the bride. A groom to train, to mold this person. So it's not as if this person is coming naked, like empty. No. My father had tried. This is what I could do while she was in my house. So now you are going to be the groom now to mold what I have molded, to remold into what will benefit both of you, which means patience.
Patience.
I love the fact that you've centered this whole discussion on intelligence. For me, that's what the youths out there need to hear.
And I hope you've been having a wonderful time with our guest right here, talking about Vince. And we're still talking about what inspires your marriage. And so we're linking with our Zoom guest right now, Dr. Abraham. Is he here? Okay, welcome, sir. Dr. Abraham Owosheni is is a life coach, is also a marriage counselor and is a life and leadership coach, educational leader, and is an author. So he's joining us right here on the studios of Galaxy Television. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone in the studio. Thank you for having me. Good morning, everyone.
So we're talking about what inspires your marriage. And we've been discussing with our guest here, Mrs. Beams Checkwas. What are those things that we should look out for if we want to inspire marriage?
Amazing. Thank you once again for having me. And I was reliving the experience of the guests in the studio. Amazing insight so far. And I'll just share some additional thoughts to our conversation this morning. Right. So earlier in some past episodes of Family and Values, I gave a metaphor of how marriages are, and that will help drive on the point of our conversation today. I remember sharing that marriages are like buildings. And so every year we're celebrating our anniversaries. It's like the first floor, the second floor, the floors of the building. And so this is a building that is rising so high into the edifice, into the sky. And so someone is celebrating 40th anniversary. Something inspired the person when they started from foundation. Now, so when we look at it, and I have a background in the field of architecture, and this inspires me a lot. When a building is to be built, the first thing that is done is that the design is done, and then the design ends with some 3D visualizations. They show the clients this is how the building will look when it is done. Now, mind you, the building has not started, the construction has not started. I could imagine also that even the approval to build has not been sought, but then the client sees this is how the building will look, and the client is excited because he sees it. What do we call that in marriages? That is what we call vision. Vision is that picture of this is how we want our homes to be. This is what we want, how we want our marriage to be. And so you find out that two people come together to synchronize the visions together. And that inspires them as they continue to build across the floors of their marital edifice. And so even when they come across difficulties, the terrain is so challenging, or the demands of building, the building comes with a lot of demand. That vision keeps inspiring them. But we don't have as much families who have articulate vision statement for their family. Every family should have somewhere in your house, in your home, an articulate vision statement that every member of the family sees. This is why we're doing what we're doing. This is why we wake up every morning, we go. This is why we're taking care of the children. This is why we are maintaining the bond and the covenant of our union. The vision we see. So although we are still building, but this is the picture. And so this is why actually that when we converse with persons who are going into the marriage edifice, as I call it, married people, young adults, this is one area we emphasize in the period of coaching and counseling that, hey, don't get so carried away with the layers and the fantasies of getting to a union. Now, this man, as he found a vision for life, because that's what's going to keep you, and that's the connection as a woman. You must have a connection to that vision. And humorously, people say, don't marry a man for television, marry him for his vision. Because I know we live in a social media world today whereby people are carried away by the material possession, the man has, right? And so where's this family? Who are they like, right? But we must be conscious of the fact that the family vision is what we keep inspiring the union. We sit together, we articulate it. This is where I'm going to. This is where I see myself in 50 years time, in 5 years time, in 10 years time. I don't look like it yet, but then how do you connect to this vision? We articulate it together, and then we can now start building. When we start building, we are gazing at that vision every single day. We are gazing at that imagination, that picture of this is where our union is going. And like they say, when your mind travels there, and then your body goes to catch up. The same works in marriage. It helps to overcome the difficulty, the hurdles. We want to build a home that is thriving, a union that raises the next generation, a union that is a model to the world, a union that is a blessing to humanity. That's the family vision. So this is one primary foundation that, in my work and, my coaching practice, I found that most unions don't define at the outskirts of their home. But again, when you look at a building, there's no building without a design. There's no building without a vision. There's something they are seeing every single day. All of the members of the building team, they are sweating. But then you find out that they are looking at the project board. They are looking at when they get to the site office. This is why we are doing what we're doing. This is why we are sweating every single day. We want to build this home this way, and that keeps them going.
Okay, Joy.
Thank you very much. I love the fact that you've been talking about vision. The family should have a vision. But there's something that is constant, which is change. And along the line, visions can change.
Of course.
Now, when we get to that point where as spouses, our vision is changing, should that lead to divorce? Should we say, okay, fine, we are no longer on the same page and let's go our different ways? And if that's the case, what should the other partner do?
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Joy, for that powerful, that insightful question. Right now, so this is how I explain it to couples and young adults who are going to marriage now. So in the last 10 years, we have seen that the future has been fast forwarded, sort of, right? And so we see that the method of executing a vision can change, right? I mean, COVID showed us how that is doing it fast forward the future, sort of, right? So the methods can change. However, most times the vision is the same. And so how I execute the vision, the methods will change. So if you look at the pace of industrial revolution, some years back, you couldn't make mobile connection or mobile calls, or some years back, internet wasn't there. Some years back, electricity wasn't there. Some years back, steam engine wasn't there. And so you find out that, yes, the methods will always change. And so one way marriages continue to inspire their union, even when the methods change, when, like we were sharing the other day about, technological addictions, when we see the rise of technology, one thing that keeps, a union intact is what we call values, right? Values. So even though the tide is changing, we have agreed to ourselves that, these are going to be our values. And even values can change, right? We want to commit to the sanctity of our union. I want to ensure that, for example, we want to ensure that, we keep communication alive. So even if maybe when you got married, communication was not through social media, now you want to be the person, the spouse, who sends the bulk of messages to your partner on social media, on all media platforms, because we have a value to keep communication alive. And so if a union, the couple can come together and define that this is our values that will keep us, even when the changes come, even when the disruptions come, these values will keep us. We're going to have integrity in this union. And you see, one beautiful thing I love about values is that values over time also influence on other members of the family, whether they are dependents as children or other members of the extended family that could be around the couple. The values they see the parents living out invariably impacts on them. So essentially, we see that values keep the bond of the union, even when we have a vision defined, even when the tide is changing. Our family, we say I'm going to be your best friend. That's the value, intimacy. I'm going to be your best friend, and I'm going to be your intimate friend. So no matter how many other friends you have, I will be your most intimate friend. Values are like guardrails, right? Think about it. I want you to picture it this way. If you are on a very high-story building and you come out to the balcony, now when you come out to a balcony and you find that you don't see any railings around, or you're even going through a staircase and there are no railings around you, what happens? You are scared because there's no constraint to how you should move, how you should live. And so we want couples to live in such a way that their living is guarded. I can't just converse with anybody. I can't just send any message to anybody. I can't just reply everybody. I can't just call anybody. There are some conversations that your spouse needs to know even before you start it. There are some transactions and partnerships that your spouse needs to know. Values define the guardrail that keeps a union secured. And this is something striking that I think a lot of viewers can take as an action point to define what values are we going to set in this dispensation, in this year, in this season, what values around our union. Maybe at another season of the union, maybe now your children are more in college or they are now, adolescents. The values may change at that time. So now we need to see how do we avoid that we don't get separated by the isolation of our children. So these are pertinent things that keeps inspiring the marriage union. And I just will be very excited that viewers can take up this action and begin to walk and run with it.
Thank you so much, Doctor. So, Doctor, I hope you're still with us, and I'm pushing this first to you, then I'll go to the doctor. Or I should go to the doctor first. Okay, doctor, you be the first. Okay, this was one of the questions we got yesterday from our episodes. And I think it works with inspiring our marriage as well, because there's always a foundation, a basis to, starting it up. Now, sexual compatibility, when you talk about religion, our culture, let me not put culture, religion, okay? It has always been a point of discussion within the youth, especially in churches and mosques and all that. How do I know the sexual compatibility or stability of my partner if I don't have to, like they'll tell you, taste first? If I don't taste, how do I know this is a sweet food or sweet mango, sweet orange? So, is it right? How do I check or know that my partner is good when it comes to sexuality?
All right, thank you so much, Adejoke, for that. And I love the sincerity of the person that asked this question, because most times we have faith-based institutions, community-based institutions shy away from this pungent, concern that many young people are going to marry. Now, you see, one of the things I found, I think I'm going to share this from my experience, before I got into marriage and when I got into marriage. And my own experience was that, sex is not something you can explain literally by words, sort of, right? The compatibility of two partners. So the idea is that just like human beings have about 78 organs, right? God did it in such a way that in our own biological wiring, the organs in charge of reproduction, sexual activities are all there, right? So as a young person, you are growing up. That's why a woman, begin to express some changes, just like a man begins to express the changes. Those organs are growing, and you should be excited about that, right? However, you shouldn't take the excitement and begin to test it out, right? Now, one of the things, the sacredness of sex as a blessing in marriage union is one of the things that doesn't require a test, doesn't require, a sampling, right? Now, when the other side of it, we see cases of soul ties, because sex is not a physical exercise. It's actually it's a bond. It bonds two people together, right? And sex is the only thing that when two people are engaged in it, the originator of marriage describes it this way. He said two people will be naked, yet they will not be ashamed. Any other place where they are naked and it's not within the confines of the institution of marriage, they will be ashamed. That's why you don't see people who either go into postmarital affair or premarital affair do things like that in an open. Nobody announces and says so. They do it in that secrecy, because it's not in the right thing to do. So when I got married, that was when I understood that, oh wow, this is so sacred. If God did it in our innate desire, it's an intuitive thing. It doesn't require a test. So two people, just like a baby, when a baby is born, nobody tells the baby this is where to put your mouth. The mother's breast is here. It's intuitive. The baby has not gone into a school, but the baby knows that I'm to put my mouth to my mother's breast, not my mother's nose, right? Even when the baby kind of bites the tip of the breast, the baby is spanked and it gets it that, oh, I shouldn't do that again. So that is also another example in sex. It's an intuitive gift that everyone was wired with. And also, let me say this, that in the case whereby two people go against this rule that God has constituted, what happens is that you find out that when they now get married, their sexual compatibility is now affected because of the previous experiences they've had. And one thing about the brain is that the brain, although yes, you may part ways with a person and say, oh, go your way, we are breaking up, but the brain does not forget the memories. So the memories come back to us, the person, and so you hear partners say, oh, you're not doing like this person, because that memory affected union. So this is how the originator works. It wants two people with blank memory about how it works come together in an innocence and let the gift of the sexual intimacy play its course, and that way they continue to enjoy the sacredness of sex.
Okay, so we're coming to you now, Beams. Compatibility, sexual compatibility. Very sharp.
Sexual compatibility.
Yeah.
Before, during, which one are we looking at?
Before.
Because
before marriage. Yeah, that's what we're looking at.
All right. Because sex in itself is very, very interesting and wide topic that cannot be taken into 3 minutes. Now, sex before marriage, we have different beliefs, we have different religions saying this and that. So I don't think it will be appropriate for me to come out here as a Christian and say, okay, my religion says there should be no sex before marriage. And then, whereas this person is saying there's nothing wrong with having it. But for me, sexual compatibility in marriage, it's a bit dicey. Yeah, I'm trying to put it in a.
I understand.
You understand? I don't want to influence anyone with my decision,
of course,
because we all have our different. But of course, the region I belong says there should be no sex before marriage. And is it possible to be compatible sexually with your partner in marriage? The answer is yes. It is very, very possible, because we are all work in progress. You bring your idea to the table, I bring mine to the table. If you are more in marriage now, if you are more experienced in sex, that's why patience is extremely important. Patience and communication in marriage. Okay? But for you to determine whether this partner will be compatible with me sexually in marriage, you may get it wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you don't know who is under influence at whatever point in time. So I think
I love the fact that you say you may get it wrong.
You may get it wrong.
Yes, you may get it wrong.
I think I got another topic from the response from Dr. Abraham and from James. And I have two different, you may get it wrong, sexual compatibility. You may get it wrong if you're not very careful. Okay, I want to say a big thank you to you. So